5 issues that involve intellectual property in a merger and acquisition deal include the following. The first issue involves where the seller may not actually own the intellectual property rights that it thinks it owns. So examples of this is where employees or contractors may not have assigned the IP rights to the company or may not have kept up title rights when under corporate name changes. Another example is where the IP is actually held in the name of the IT personnel or the owners of the company rather than in the name of the company. The second issue concerns where the seller might be involved in a pending or threatened infringement claim. Nobody wants to buy an expensive fight. So in this case, the buyer may require the seller to resolve the claim before closing, or they may decide to withhold some of the sales proceeds pending the outcome of the threatened claim or the pending claim. The third issue might be where the intellectual property is encumbered by liens, such as tax liens or lines of credit of the company. The fourth issue is where prior agreements of the company may have limited the rights to that IP. So a good example might be where the seller might have entered into agreements with prior customers to limit its use of this IP in certain geographical areas or in certain fields of use. And this can be real problematic because the buyer might have specific plans to use that IP in those specific geographical areas or in that field of use. The fifth issue is where the IP might be held in escrow. So a good example of this might be where a major customer of the seller required the seller to place its source code into escrow in case the seller had some financial difficulties or filed bankruptcy or failed to continue as a going concern. In this case, the buyer might require the seller to remove that source code from the escrow, even at a great cost to the seller. So typically what I tell my clients and advise my clients is to manage their IP as they move along to try to minimize problems down the road, particularly in a sale event or some other liquidation event.